Those six-fingered freakazoids, Burnley at the top of the table over in the Championship with a perfect record after 2 wins on the bloody bounce. They are joined, though, alongside them, Sunderland and Watford, who, of course, will be there at the end of match number 3. We're going to get into it, all of it, next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. Today, we're taking a look at match number 3, that's right, over in the Championship, and we'll get to it in a second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe button. Your one-stop shop for the Championship is right here under one Rooski. Can, of course, Burnley, Sunderland and Watford make it 3 wins on their bounce? We'll get into all of that and more in a second. And if you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe button. Your one-stop shop for the Championship is right here, boys and girls. Under one Rooski, we cover Rovers, Championship, world football, everything here under one Rooski. Of course, it's been pretty good for Rovers as well. Unbeaten campaign. But, of course, it all gets a little bit trickier for everybody heading into match for day 3. We'll get into that in a second, of course. But before all that, now, before we jump into the video, something brand new to the channel. And what is it? It's the join button. That's right. We've gone there. Memberships. That's right. We've opened up the floodgates to members, so you can now join and support the channel in another way. We have our first member, so a big shout out to him. But you can also join that member and becoming an extra special member of the community. Just click on the join button, follow the on-screen instructions, and become part of the gang. All right, then, folks, let's take a little look back at how we all got on last time around, then, shall we? Take a look at, of course, my picks, house predictions, and, of course, the results itself. Coventry pick up a cheeky 3-2 win over Oxford. Both Hal and myself back in the home victory on that one. Meanwhile, West Brom and Leeds could only muster a 0-0 draw, and again, both of us going with the same sort of result as well. Meanwhile, Derby pick up a shock of the round here with a 1-0 win over Middlesbrough. None of us got that one right. Meanwhile, Pompey and Luton with a 0-0 draw. Hal picks the scalp there. Bristol City 4-3 winners over Millwall. 7-goal thriller. Both of us backing the Robins to get victorious on that one. Plymouth starting to turn a corner now. That's an unbeaten run of 2 games now for Wayne Rooney FC with a 1-1 draw against Hull City. And again, none of us gave them any hope. Swansea 3-0 winners over managerless Preston. That one goes to me. Kudos. Watford, of course, 3-0 winners over Stoke. Again, both of us backing the Hornets. Sheffield United with a 2-2 draw against QPR. Hal must be licking his wounds there. Both of us backing the Blades. I actually gave that as my banker. And Rovers, and pick up a monster point against Norwich, 2-2 in the end. Both of us backing the draw. And then finally, a couple here to end it. Burnley with a 5-0 win over Cardiff. Combine our predictions together, we get it spot on the nose. And Sunderland Sheffield Wednesday, 4-0 was the final score. Hal's 5-0 prediction doesn't look too crazy in the end. So not too shabby there. Of course, this is the current state of play in the league, as you see at Burnley, 6 points from 6. Sunderland as well. Watford in the mixer. And Rovers ain't too far away either. But what about the Super Brew? Well, let's take a closer look at that then, shall we? As you can see from the Super Brew, this past round over in the Championship, Hans Wurst picking up an impressive 14 points. Well done to him. John Cow's up there with 13.5. Paul Burden, Kovlad, 76. And there is Hal's score of 12. I'll show you in the guest leaderboard in a second. Just above me for the time of asking. So that's the situation in the round. So well done to me. And of course, kudos to everybody taking part in the old prediction league. But the overall leaderboard looks a little bit like this. John Cow tops the charts with 25.5. Hans Wurst, big jumper. 23 places to number 2. He's up there in second. Swansea City 1, up 9 to number 3 as the top 3 gets a facelift. Sexy Ogie up to number 1 spot to number 8 into the power 10. I'm on the move as well. Up 31 spots. One of the biggest, if not the biggest mover. Phew, actually, Kovlad, big up 50 points to him. He's breathing down my neck. Now, if you want to get involved, of course, it is 100% free. Get involved here, Cutley/champ2425. The link is in the description if you ever have any difficulties there. It is early, lots of points on the offer, so get in amongst it while you still can. Now, of course, before we jump into it, to take a look at our next guest, this is the current Hall of Fame. Only 2 so far. Could all change with a new name. We do have Hal flexing it with a 12-piece. That can be beaten. It's not 12 matches out of 12. Super Brew have their own score prediction system. I don't know how they do it. But this is it at the moment. Elliot Bennett now looking like in the relegation zone. But unfortunately, we'll see where they all rank at the end of the campaign. But let's move on forward to this week's action and this week's guest. Joining me today is Gabby. He's, of course, I would say, EFL specialist. And he knows the ups and downs of the 72. And he's here with me to talk about match number 3. I want to let you know right here, right now, this is the benchmark. We had Elliot Bennett on first week. He got 5. Hal from Sheffield United Way got 12. When I say 12, it's not, he didn't get them all right. We put the predictions in this super brew prediction thing, and they take the score lines and how close you were to the score lines, and they give you a number, and he got 12. So that is, you're feeling confident you're going to beat Hal.
Let's see. It might need a bit of luck, a bit of variance, but hopefully I can do it.
Bit of variety, yeah. I actually got this past week 11.5, so he even beat me, the punk. But anyway, so far we're 2 weeks in the championship. Who's been your standout?
Well, I think Sunderland and Burnley have obviously been the two most impressive sides so far. Burnley have been very ruthless, haven't they? Scoring 9 goals so far. Sunderland have been super impressive as well with the young talent in their squad. So I'd probably say those two.
Those two. And we'll touch a little bit on Preston a little bit, maybe who you think is going to be coming in as their manager over there, unless something's been happening this morning. I don't think there has. But anyway, let's start, of course, over in a bit of a Yorkshire affair here. Sheffield Wednesday up against Leeds United. I'll do a bit of a spiel here. They have played 37 times since 1993. There's been 11 wins for Wednesday, 14 wins for Leeds, and there's been 12 draws between the two sides. The last time they played over at Hillsborough, it was a 2-0 win for Leeds. And the last time Sheffield Wednesday beat Leeds at their own place was back in October 2017. Wednesday on the back of a bit of a spanking, like you said, against Sunderland. Leeds not getting off to the best start. Back-to-back goalless affairs, including the Cup. Which way is Gabby going for this one?
Sheff Wednesday again. I think Sheff Wednesday might win that one. I'm going to go 2-1 to the Owls.
2-1 to the Owls. That's exactly the same as what I've got down here. So you've already got my email with all my answers. No, I'm only kidding. Let's move on over to Bristol City. They started encouragingly well in their new season, taking on a Coventry who had a bit of a bumpy start. The meeting over at Ashton Gate on the 24th of August. Bristol City they played these two sides 27 times since 2007. 12 wins for the hosts, 8 wins for Coventry, 7 draws between the two sides, stretching back nearly 20-odd years. The last time they played in the league, it was a 1-0 win for Bristol City. It's quite a draw-heavy sort of result. 3 of the last 5 have ended up as a draw. Bristol City on the back of a good win against Millwall. Was it really 4-3? I didn't see that one coming in. Coventry scraping past Oxford 3-2 at the Ricoh just last week. If I had to push you for which way this one will go, which way are you leaning towards here?
So Bristol City Coventry, did you say?
I did.
Bristol City Coventry. I would say maybe 2-2 for that one.
2-2. He's going for a Desmond 2-2 on that one. I'm leaning towards a Bristol City victory on this one. Coventry, I think the past couple of seasons have started slow and they seem to just cook towards the end. So I think this seems to be following in another pattern for Robin. So I think, again, it'll be a stuttered start, going with a Bristol City victory. Let's go over to Hull now as Hull City take on Millwall. Not been overly impressed so far from Tim Walter, the new coach at Hull. And again, Millwall under Neil Harris seem to be competing, getting some goals, looking competitive. And an iffy start for them at the moment. Over at the MKM Stadium, these two sides have played 22 times, since 2005. 8 wins for Hull, 7 for Millwall, 7 draws between the two sides. Hull, though, have not lost in the last 4 against Millwall, and they picked up at least 3 wins on the bounce against them at their own place. Hull on the back of a 1-1 draw against Plymouth. Millwall, high-scoring defeat so far in the league, but they did pick up a win against Pompey in the Cup. Which way are you leaning towards here?
I'll go 2-1 to Hull.
2-1 to, spot on. Exactly what I've got as well. We're looking good here, Gabby. We're going to top the leaderboard next week. Let's go over to QPR against Plymouth. Wayne Rooney FC picking up a cheeky point against Hull this past week. QPR, what did they get up to? They got a nice draw against Sheffield United. Hull will be upset about that one. 19 times these two sides have played since 2003. 4 wins for the hosts, 6 wins for Plymouth, 9 draws between the two sides. QPR back-to-back games without a loss. Plymouth on a bit of a resurgency from the opening game of the season and a win in the cup, a draw this past midweek. The last few games over at QPR, I'll take a little look at it. The last time around, it was a 0-0 draw at Loftus Road. In fact, QPR's last win against Plymouth was back in March 2010. There hasn't been that many, to be honest. QPR coming into this, where are they? Coming on the back of that 2-2 draw, Hull with that draw as well. Which way, Gabby, are you going for this one on match
2-0 QPR for me.
I'm telling you, it's like you've got me. You've got all my notes. I think there's only one so far that we're differing from. Maybe I'll have to mix it up just to be a little bit spicy. Then we go to the game of the round. It is, of course, my beloved Blackburn Rovers taking on Oxford United, who I've been pleasantly surprised with Oxford so far. Big win against Coventry. I think they did lose this past week, Oxford. Yeah, just though against Coventry at Ewood Park. These two sides have only played 3 times since 2016. Rovers winning all of them. Are looking pretty good at the moment under Eustace. And again, I think Des Buckingham, his name might be in the mixer for Preston's job, but I don't think they're going to get anywhere close to that. The last time they played at Ewood, it was a 2-1 win for Rovers. That was back in our League One days. Bookies are back in Rovers. Oxford, the underdogs. Which way does Gabby go on this one?
I'll say 3-1-2 Blackburn.
I'm telling you. I'm not joking you. Are you going 3-1 Rovers, right? Not the other way.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is looking good. Let's see if we just get the one blip. Let's go over to the Riverside then, the northeast. Long way to go for these Portsmouth fans here under John Musinho. Carrick's he peaked in the cup, flapped a little bit this past week against Derby. So looking for a response there. Played 22 times since 93. 4 wins for the Borough, 7 wins for Pompey, 11 draws as well. The last time they played at Middlesbrough, it was a 2-2 draw back in August 2011. In fact, the home side has only won once at the last 6 between these two sides. 4 draws out the last 5 between these two. Quite tight. Pompey on the back of that 0-0 draw against Luton. Back-to-back games without a goal, including in the cup. So scoring might be a little bit tricky for them. Borough, again, they look good in the cup against Leeds. Terrible, I won't say terrible, maybe unlucky against Derby. Bookies backing the hosts. Which way's Gabby going on this?
I'll say 3-0 to Middlesbrough.
Okay, we're going the right way, but you're going a bit more adventurous. I'm going with a 2-1 win, so that's good. Bit of variety there. We like to spice it up. Let's go to Carrow Road.
I'll say 67-19, just to make sure.
that will be definitely spicing it up and mixing it up, and definitely nowhere near what I've got for this one. But it is at Carrow Road. Norwich back-to-back home games in the league up against the Sheffield United side. Maybe, a little bit upset with their 2-2 draw at home at Bramall Lane. But this game over at East Anglia, 36 times they're played since 93, 15 wins for the Canaries, 13 wins for the Blades, and there's been 8 draws between the two sides. Norwich, though, not the greatest start to the season, just 1 point out the first 2 games. Sheffield United unbeaten and looking good. Or difficult to beat. Last time around at Carrow Road, it was a 1-0 win for Sheffield United. Back in April 2023, Sheffield United have actually unbeaten against Norwich since 2017. They've picked up a handful of wins and a handful of draws. Bookies, though, going for it's actually quite tight in the bookies. They don't know which way to go. Does Gabby know which way he's going to
go? Sheffield United have looked quite good. 2-2.
2-2. I've also gone with a draw. I've gone with a 1-1 draw, but yeah, it does smell like a draw. And it is, of course, a tricky place to go. Let's talk about Preston for a minute. Managerless Preston on the hunt for a new coach. What is your gut feeling about that? Where do you think they're going to go? Who do you think they're going to turn to resolve their sticky start to the season?
Yeah, I think the problem Ryan Lowe's had is that he's had a reputation in the lower leagues as being quite a progressive manager, and his Bury and Plymouth Argyle sides played some really good football, but he hasn't really been able to implement that at Preston North End because actually he's been a bit conservative, and that's kind of how he's got the results. So I guess my worry would be, you appoint somebody like a Scott Lindsay, who I think's been linked with Crawley. Is he necessarily going to be able to implement the kind of football that he wants, and are they going to need to change the personnel a bit? So I'm really curious to see where they go for. It wouldn't surprise me if they went for maybe somebody more experienced, David Moyes, for instance. I could see something like that happening possibly.
Oh, yeah. Return for Moyes is probably the dream sheet for Preston fans. But I don't think they're going to, I think that's going to be quite an ask. But hey, if there's some way to win over the fans, that would be the way to do it. They do take on a Luton Town side looking to really kick their season. It's just been the 1 point so far out of 2 games over at Deepdale. Rob Edwards, of course, hotly tipped or hotly, everyone kind of got a soft spot for Rob Edwards, done a magic job at Luton. These two sides have played 12 times since 2005. It's quite tight. 5 wins apiece, 2 draws between the two sides, and both sides really looking for a jump start to the season. The last time they played at Deepdale, it was a draw. Preston have got it was a 1-1 draw back in Feb 2023. Preston yet to score a goal. In fact, was it 6 games now? 5 games without a goal. Looking to try and rectify that. Luton just got the 1 goal this season. That was against Burnley in that drubbing. Bookies going with the away win, which is Luton Town, which could stretch that winless affair for the Nobbers for a little bit longer. Which way are you going?
I think Luton win 5-1.
Wow, that is. You give them a goal, though. You do give them a goal. I've gone with a 2-0 win for the Hatters on this one. Preston continue to struggle. And again, it's just a sticky start. There's a couple of teams in the Championship that have got really, awkward starts. And I think Preston have just had a bad run of games. Let's move on over to Stoke City. Stephen Schumacher's boys up against West Bromwich Albion and Carlos Cobahan in the dugout. A familiar match this, 45 matches since 93, 23 wins for Stoke, 11 wins for the Baggies. 11 draws between the two sides. The last time, although it's actually been back-to-back draws between these two sides, both at the Hawthorns and at the Bet365 Stadium. But we're looking back, stretching back a little bit. It does favour a West Bromwich Albion victory. The Baggies are coming into this on the back of that 0-0 draw against a Leeds United side, whereas Stoke picking up a 3-0 drubbing by Watford. Bookies slightly favour Stoke on this one, believe it or not. But for me and you, which way are you going?
1-0 West Brom.
1-0 West Brom. Okay, we got a bit of variety here. I've gone with a 2-2 draw. I'm going to give Stoke a little bit of a not an upper hand, but home advantage. They've got some good players and interesting players, and maybe something to cause West Brom a bit of problems. And again, we'll stretch a bit of a frustrated start for West Brom into Matchday number 4. Let's talk about your hot league. In fact, it's probably the game of the day. It's 1 versus 2 or 2 versus 1. It's the Mackhams up against them 6-fingered weirdos down the road, Burnley. Sorry, I have to do it. At the Stadium of Light, it's Reggie Lebree's Sunderland up against Scotty Parker's Burnley. Both started in fantastic form in the league. However, Sunderland do come into this 2 wins and a defeat so far this season when you include the Calabata Cup. Meanwhile, Burnley, back-to-back wins for them, scoring a buttload of goals as well. And when we look at the recent 6 between these two sides, the home side's only won once out of the last 6. That's when Burnley beat Sunderland back in the FA Cup in January 2017. Over the course of time, they've played 20 times since 94. 7 wins for the hosts. That's Sunderland, 5 for Burnley. 8 draws between the two sides. Bookies do go in favour of Burnley. They are favoured here to win this one. But you've been impressed with Reggie Lebree and Sunderland. Are you going to back them this time? Are you going to back Burnley? Which way are you going?
I am going to back Sunderland. I'm going to say 2-0 to the Bat Cats.
Alrighty, I'm actually also back. I have tipped Burnley the past couple of matches to win, but I do think Sunderland at home is intimidating. I'm going with a 2-1 win. Did you say 2-0 there?
2-0.
2-0 into the final 2, and we'll get you on your way here. Watford up against Derby at Vicarage Road. These two sides, again, one young coach, one guy who's been there, seen it and done it, and got the T-shirt, Mr. Paul Warne, in the dugout for Derby. Back in a big win for him. It's actually been a big week for Derby County. Back-to-back wins in the Cup. They steamrolled that into the league, beating a Middlesbrough side. Watford, though, looked pretty good under Cleverly. I was very concerned with him, but he's turned them draws into wins, and they look pretty hot to trot at the moment, are Watford. 32 times they're played since 94. Derby have got 13 wins, 11 wins for Watford, 8 draws between the two sides. Last time around at Vicarage Road, it was a 2-1 win for Watford, who have just lost once. The last 4 against Derby. The bookies are backing the Hornets. Are you backing the Hornets?
I am. I'm going to say 2-0 to Tom Cleverly.
2-0, exactly what I've got. We're looking good right here. And we're going to end it with a bit of a Welsh affair. We're going to go to Swansea, taking on Cardiff on August the 25th. That's Sunday. All eyes on this one. 19 times they're played, these two sides. This actually favours quite heavily Swansea. 11 wins to their 5. there's been 3 draws between the two sides. Cardiff, not great so far this season. I think it's back-to-back defeats. Swansea, actually back-to-back defeats in the league. Swansea picking up a couple of wins, one in the cup, one in the league as well. Most recently, they played back in March 24. Swansea picking up the win. Cardiff only winning once out of the last 6 against them. And there's not many draws in town. The last time that these two sides drew was back in January 2020. So it does seem to favour one or the other. Most recently, it does seem to be Swansea, who look good at home. Back-to-back home wins for them. They scored 6 goals in the past 2 games, and they were both at home. Are you going to back the Swans, or are you going to back the, whatever they call them, Bluebirds?
1-0 Swansea for me.
1-0 Swansea for you. I've gone also with the Swans. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. And if I was to push you for a banker, which one would you say is dead cert to happen from your picks? Which way would you go? Which one would you pick?
For the dead cert, I would probably go with Middlesbrough against Portsmouth.
Middlesbrough for Portsmouth. I am going to go, if I were to be pushed for it, it's quite tricky there, but your 5-1 sticks out again for Luton. I think a Luton to beat Preston. I'm going to go with that. That's a banker of a 2-0. I appreciate it, Gabby. If you want, we're going to try and donate any ad revenue to a charity of your choice. Which is the charity of your choice? Say it proudly for me.
Mind.
We're going to get that to you. We're going to give it like over a week just to, to see how many views we can get on this bad boy. And of course, I do appreciate your time on this Monday. Appreciate it. And hopefully you get most of yours right, because they're pretty much the same as mine. Well, there you have it, folks. There you bloody have it. A big shout out again to Gabby for giving up a bit of his time, the EFL expert. How good is he in regards to the Wall of Fame? Where will he feature? Well, of course, we'll feature or showcase his scores next week. So a big shout out once again to him. And if you want to know someone else, big shout him out now. Get him in the comments who you want to appear on the show. I'll try and make it happen. I've got some irons in the fire, some surprise names, some weird names. So, I'm going everywhere to try and mix it up a little bit. But that's it, guys. That is it. Subscribe, smash a like, catch you later. We'll be back next week. But until then, we are done.